What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Student Built Startups podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Stone, entrepreneur and marketing analytics student at UMD. I interview student entrepreneurs to share their stories and business strategies. Today's guest will be speaking about how to be a great freelancer. She has been freelancing for over 8 years and has worked with over 400 clients across the world. I encourage you to go check out betterbizacademy.com to find out more about her and her business. I am super excited to introduce you all to the owner of the Freelancing Coach, Laura Briggs. Hey, Laura, super happy to have you here on the Student Built Startups podcast. I'll have you start off by saying hello to everyone listening and sharing one crazy but true fact about yourself.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be here. A crazy but fun fact about myself is that I've been tap dancing for over 30 years, and I'd say I'm pretty good. It's probably one of my better skill sets in life, totally unrelated to business or professional pursuits, but it's something I really love to do.
You know, that is actually really cool. I've always been kind of fascinated by tap dancing, just the speed at which they can move their feet and the sounds that can come along with that is pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah, so, I love it.
Yeah, well, that's cool. So how about let's start off with you sharing a little bit about your educational and entrepreneurial story, including some details about your business, the Freelancing Coach.
Sure. So I was on track to work towards becoming a tenure track professor. I really thought that I wanted to work in education. So I've done everything but my dissertation for my PhD in public policy with Virginia Tech. And while I was taking those classes at night, I took a job teaching 7th grade geography in Baltimore City Public Schools and kind of had the love for education driven straight out of me by working in public K-12 schools. It's just so different from the university and graduate school setting. So realizing that that wasn't going to be a career I felt like I could follow for 20 or 30 years, and the fact that my now husband, then boyfriend, was in the Navy, I knew that I was going to have to find something that was flexible and be able to follow me around. So I Googled how to become a freelance writer, thinking, well, I've done a lot of graduate school writing work and I read all the time, so maybe this is something I could learn. So I have been a freelance writer full-time since the summer of 2013, and I've worked with clients all over the country and all over the world, and scaling my business kind of started opening the opportunity to coach other people. So now I help coach other people, and I'm the volunteer executive director for a nonprofit called Operation Freelance, where we teach military spouses and veterans how to break in to freelancing because they have kind of the highest need for remote and flexible careers too.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's awesome that you kind of identified that maybe the education wasn't the path you wanted to go, and you were able to find something that was going to kind of suit your lifestyle that you had. And I really like the idea of you trying to help military families and them try to kind of get into freelancing, because that would be a perfect fit for someone who's on the move a lot.
Yeah, we've moved 8 times in 10 years. So we're currently in Minnesota, but we have literally been all over the place with my husband's career. And so for me, being able to work digitally and set my own hours and things was just instrumental to me, always waiting to hear, is the Navy saying we're going to move again? We don't know where to, what time zone it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Minnesota as well, so we're kind of in the same area, which is cool.
That's right.
So what kind of led you down starting the path of your freelancing career, and kind of how did all that get started?
I started just by reading and absorbing everything that I could about people who were freelancing. And although it wasn't that long ago, back in 2012, when I was getting started with this as a side hustle, there weren't a lot of clear resources, or some of them were really dated. And so working as a freelance writer, the advice would be pitch newspapers and pitch magazines. And, for all kinds of reasons, that doesn't make sense with the way that media has changed. And so I looked for ways that I could capitalize on where I thought technology and media was headed. And I saw that in blogs, in online content, in social media copy. So I started learning from anyone that I could how to do those particular skills and started looking for clients online. I used a lot of freelance job boards. So those are places where clients are posting leads and then you respond to them with your pitch. And for the first year, I actually had a traditional day job as a marketing associate at a life insurance brokerage. So from 8:30 to 5, I was there, and 3 nights a week, I was in PhD classes. So I very much did this as a side hustle, maybe 5 to 10 hours a week. And it got to the point where I could no longer juggle all those things at once. And so I started working for myself.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's cool how you kind of identified where the industry was moving, and you were like looking forward, looking ahead, and kind of positioned yourself for that, which is cool. So if there was one thing that you wish you could have known before you started freelancing, what would that one thing be?
Well, that there's no reason not to start. So I think I hear a lot of people who hear my story or someone else's story, or they know another freelancer, and they're like, well, I don't know. It seems like there's too much work I'd have to do. I'd have to build a website. I'd have to learn all these things. I'd have to become an expert. If I'm going to be a designer, I need to go back to school for design. Or if I'm a writer, I need to go get an MFA. That's really not true. And the only thing that I really regret is that I didn't start sooner, because I got my master's degree at Virginia Tech before I started my PhD program. And anyone who's in grad school knows there's a 90% chance you are flat broke while you're in grad school. If you are lucky, the school is paying your tuition. I think I was getting paid $1,100 a month or something to be a teaching assistant. And half of that went to my rent every single month. So, I think I wish I had started sooner and had more confidence to try it, because it really would have helped me beef up my writing skills while I was still a master's student. But I also had to learn the hard way that I really didn't want to be an educator in the sense that I thought that I did. So I think that's a big misconception that a lot of people have, and something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I know a lot of people do kind of have that fear of starting because they're kind of unaware, they're unsure, and they think it might be a lot of work. But I mean, really just to get started, you just have to like take that first step, and you don't have to go 100%. You can take it slow and easy. And then if you don't like it, you can always stop. So
yeah, try to find one client, one project. If you hate it, you never have to do it again. And if you like it, you can keep doing it. But I think like, don't say, oh, I need 8 months to get started and try to find that first client. It's far better to just, and I actually think while you're in school, whether it's college or grad school or whatever, that is a great time to get those skills, because even if you decide that going into business for yourself isn't right, the kinds of things that people do as freelancers are in high demand by employers. So for you to walk into a job interview after graduation and say like, yeah, I taught myself Facebook ads, I taught myself logo design, and I did it for people while I was in college, that instantly makes you a standout candidate. So there's really no reason not to try even a couple of projects while you're still in school.
Yeah, for sure. At the very least, it can boost your resume. So how have you used your past failures to help you have greater success in the future?
I think that, there's advice out there that you have to fail fast, which I think is important to do, in the sense that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail at certain things. And so don't try to guard against that. It's far better to just know that it's not the end of the world if you do fail. Being an entrepreneur is a total roller coaster. There are times when you feel like you are on top of the world, your business is streamlined, you have the best clients. And then there's other times where it's just really hard and you're navigating through a new challenge, or you happen to have not enough business at that point in time, or you're working with the wrong people. There's all kinds of things that can go wrong. I look at everything as a learning opportunity. So when something doesn't work, whether I launch a new course and it doesn't do well, or a client relationship falls apart, I always ask, is there anything here that I could have done better to prevent this situation? And if it's something where, yeah, I wasn't upfront with the client, or I didn't have the right clause in my contract, it's not necessarily a failure, because I can take a note from that and use that to protect myself going forward. So all the systems, policies, contract clauses, rules that I have in my business today are mostly based out of personal experience. So you will get better. You will never stop failing though. So always just try to take something from it for the future.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I really liked what you said about you have to fail fast. Just because that kind of relates to the last question that we talked about, as far as starting small and not trying to go absolutely like do everything when you're first starting out, because when you fail, it'll be a little bit of a smaller failure, which is a little easier to digest.
Yes.
So what do you enjoy most about what you do as a freelancer?
I think it's the fact that no 2 days are the same, and I am always learning new things. Freelancers are much more likely to invest in their skills. And like we were talking about a while ago about looking to see where the industry is going, I do that all the time. So I think about like, what if someone does invent artificial intelligence that gets to 80% of my writing ability and clients can do that cheaper and faster? What would I do then? And so I am always investing in trying to figure out what I can learn next as a writer, as a business owner. I've taught myself Amazon ads and Facebook ads and book marketing and launch strategy because I want to be able to have a variety of services so that if something drastic changes in the industry, I can evolve in that way. And so to me, I am the type of person that hates doing the same thing every single day. Those kinds of jobs are just, I can't do it. And so I kind of like the fact that I'm going to be talking to different clients, working on different types of work. And it's such a good variety. I'm always learning something new. Like yesterday, I wrote a press release for somebody who was a family member of a serial killer, and the serial killer hid it from the family for 3 decades. Like, so I'm like, this is so cool. Like, I've never heard of this. And so now I'm like, oh, I'm going to so read that book when it comes out. I love learning new stuff. So being a freelancer really appeals to me.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's awesome that you're able to learn new things, because I think like the best way you can invest is to invest in yourself, and you're kind of almost getting paid to learn to do stuff as well, which is cool. So when you were first starting, what would you say was your biggest fear, and what did you do to overcome that?
Yeah, my biggest fear was that this wouldn't be sustainable. I saw it as great to have extra money, but I think when you have left education and you've graduated and you're in a traditional job, there is a sense of security that comes with that paycheck dropping in your bank account every week or every 2 weeks. And when you have to go out and hustle and create that, it's on you every single day to make sure that your business has that cash flow coming in. And so I stayed at my day job for 13 months while I side hustled. And I did that very purposely because I wanted to have a year of income to see is December a dead